Good. Testing. Good evening, everyone. Happy holidays. We are going to get started in 1 minute. Council members, can you please take your seats? Okay, we're just waiting on a couple of council members to join us, and then we're going to get started. Okay. Good evening, council members and community. I'm calling the November 19th meeting of the Altadena Town Council to order. The time is 7:03. I am turning things over to Vice Chair Arnzen to introduce our flag salute.
Good evening, everybody. So last Thursday, Chair Knapp and I were lucky to attend the Pasadena Community Foundation's Local Heroes Luncheon. A number of Altadena nonprofits received funding from the foundation over the past year, including the Altadena Library Foundation, the Altadena Mountain Rescue, Soul Force Project, Side Streets Projects, and one recipient in particular is with us tonight. Shelley Mitchell is a 14-year resident of Altadena and has been involved in the Meals on Wheels program for 7 years, and we are lucky to have her tonight. Please help me welcome our incredible local hero, Shelley Mitchell. Yep.
Place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shelley, don't go too far. We have a little something for you. Before we move on with our agenda, I wanted to call a little bit of attention to the Altadena Meals on Wheels. We learned in the luncheon that we were in that even with a grant that they were generously awarded, there are that can subsidize meals for Altadenans that are homebound or have disabilities or are in need of hot meals. There are 35 Altadenans that are unable to afford a subsidized meal. So I will just ask those that are within the sound of my voice to consider, as you are gifting for the holidays, to please consider giving to the Altadena Meals on Wheels. You can find out how to donate by going to their website. I was there myself earlier. And so that we don't have any Altadenans that are going hungry, and especially not at the holidays. So we thank you so much for all you do for those in Altadena that are in need. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. Roll call. Oh, is that where we are? Yep. Oh, boy, I should have. Look at me going far. Okay, roll call. Council Member Sutherlen.
Thank you. Council members, please listen up and respond when appropriate. Connor Chipola.
Present.
Victoria Knapp.
Present.
Nick Arnzen.
Present.
Kim Yu.
Present.
Melissa Morona.
Here.
Dorothy Wong.
Here.
John Carmody.
Here. Here.
Chris O'Malley.
I'm here.
Isis Molden.
Present.
Jafina Hall.
Present.
Vice Stewart Gordon.
Present.
Pat Sutherlen is here. Reginald Wilkins.
Present.
Doug Cauliflower.
Here.
Diane Markison. Here. And Sylvia Vega. Here. Everybody's here, and we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the approval of our November 19th agenda.
Good evening, fellow council and community members. There are agendas at the back of the room as well as public comment card. The council welcomes input from the public on both agendized and non-agendized items. If you would like to make a public comment, please fill out the card and give it to a council person on either end of the tables. Additionally, I would like to remind everyone in the room to please silence your cell phones and other noise-making devices. As the council does not respond to public comment during the meeting, if you would like a response, please be sure to include your name and contact info at the bottom of that card. Public comments are limited to 2 minutes. These guidelines are in place to ensure that everyone wishing to make public comment has the time to do so, and that we can conduct this meeting in an orderly fashion. Council members, the Altadena Town Council Executive Committee met on Monday, November 11th, to set the agenda for tonight's meeting. That agenda was circulated to you last week on Thursday, November 14th. Are there any modifications to the agenda this evening? Pat?
Yes, for 4611.
Census tract report?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we're adding item 8 under general public comment. We will add census tract reports. 8.1 will be 4611, and then we will move the adjournment to number 9. Okay, where would you like to put that?
Given that one of our electeds is here, I think we should move, at least in part, up underneath. Where are you?
Hey,
Oh, there you go. Listen, I
you got a
should put
seat
my
in front if you want
glasses on. Come to the front, please. We have a seat for you.
We want to keep
Oh,
our
I
eye
know.
on
Okay,
you.
you sit where you would like. So I think we should move that to item number 3 under officers' reports.
All right, so council, if you look at your agenda, after 2, officers' reports, we will change item 3 to be the special presentations. That will roll the remaining items appropriate in number. Does that make sense to the council? Thank
Yes.
you. Then with those 2 changes, do I have any extra changes? I see.
Motion.
Yep, Kim?
Oh.
Oh, I will move to approve if I see no other changes. Seeing none, I move that we accept the agenda
Second.
with said changes. I have a second. Chair?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions or oppositions? None. Okay, we have an agenda. Moving on. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that November 11th, 2024 was Veterans Day, a time to honor and thank all those who have served in our nation's military. Their courage, sacrifice, and dedication to protecting our freedoms deserve our deepest respect and gratitude. Please keep our veterans in your thoughts and continue to support those who serve, both past and present. Also, Councilmember Sutherlen will certify the election results later on, which also signals that the service of this year's executive committee is also coming to a close. As we look towards 2025, I am appointing Councilmember Cauliflower to chair the Slate Committee, who will nominate the next executive committee during the December meeting. Council members who are eligible and interested in serving on the executive committee, please look for a communication from Doug. And Councilmember O'Malley has offered to be on the committee as well. I thank them both. Moving on to our Vice Chair's report.
Thank you, Chair. I am Vice Chair Nick Arnzen. My pronouns are he, him. I mention that because we are at near the end of Transgender Awareness Week. November 13th to 20th is the week which culminates in Transgender Day of Remembrance, which is tomorrow. It's of particular importance this year that we educate ourselves on issues affecting the transgender community, as they will need our support and allyship even more in the coming years. 2024 has seen the largest amount of anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ+ legislation than any time in history, surpassing any anti-minority legislation, including during the civil rights era. These attacks and public spread misconceptions will only continue, and we need to stand side by side with this community to show them that we support them and that we will not stop fighting for them. Please find ways to reach out and learn more about the transgender community in general and what you can do to make sure they know you see them, you hear them, and that you respect them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. Our minutes for October 15th, Councilmember Sutherlen.
Council members, you received the minutes for the October meeting over the weekend. Are there any corrections or changes that you would like to see since you received them that you didn't send me? Okay. There were some misspellings, and those have been corrected, but I think that was fairly minor. Hearing that, I move to accept the minutes for the October meeting as presented with the appropriate corrections.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are everybody in favor? We should have a couple of abstentions from last. So there's Councilmember Arnzen and Councilmember Cauliflower both abstaining. Mm-hmm. Any objections? None. Yep. Great. Thank you so much. Treasurer's report, Councilmember O'Malley.
That's another month. All right. We got one for the period starting on 10/1 and ending on 10/31. We started with $1,434.86 in the bank. We ended with the same amount, and I swear you're going to have the largest deposit in Altadena Town Council history next month. It's just so hard getting over the lake. I want to do two things. Number one, I want to absolutely support everything the Vice Chair said. That was beautiful, and thank you for that. And number two, I would like to remind everybody that the Altadena Town Council is a volunteer organization that receives neither tax monies nor pay. We are all here giving our time for you. If you would like to help us out paying for the stuff that we sometimes have to pay for, I'm going to pass around this very high-tech piece of equipment right here. There is no donation too small. There is no donation too big. Oh, yeah. I have money. Mine. If you receive it over here, if you could do me a solid and give it to Councilmember Wilkins over here on the edge of the dais, that would be great. Thank you for any help you can give. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Corresponding Secretary, Dorothy Wong.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. It's holiday time, how's that? So we are rolling into Thanksgiving and our winter holidays. So on our Town Council website on the calendar page, I have all of the events and links going on with the parks. So there's actually going to be the infamous Winter Wonderland, I think, on the 21st of December at Loma Alta Park. And then I'm not sure if we mentioned, Chair Knapp, if you wanted to talk about this.
I'll do it later during
Okay.
the holiday. Thank you so much for...
You're welcome. And then Meals on Wheels is also connected. We'll post this next to the senior center. That's also on the calendar page, so we can see all of the latest information. And last but not least, the Elves Fair, special shout out to Waldorf School, Saturday, November 23rd, from 10 to 4 o'clock at 209 East Mariposa is the Elves Fair. And there's more stuff that ISIS chair that will be giving me on the website. So we'll add more great events going on, and save the date. The 100-year celebration of Jane's Village Cottages is going to be happening next year, May 31st, 100-year anniversary of Jane's Village Homes. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we have in our midst some very distinguished dignitaries who are both leaving their positions that they've held the entire time that I've been on this council. It's always hard to have these kinds of transitions, especially when you're a small local government like we are that reports to a very large government in the Board of Supervisors. So I wanted to take an opportunity to thank both Senator Portantino and Assemblymember Chris Holden for coming here tonight. You certainly have a packed agenda as you look to wrap things up in both of your offices, so we appreciate your time. And up first, I'll call Senator Portantino to give us a legislative update.
I was late because I stopped across the street for gelato. So how could you be here and not get a little gelato at Bulgarini, right? Leo said hello to everybody. So yeah, I had the pomegranate, which is more like an Italian ice than a gelato, but it was. And I had dinner there last week, so I probably shouldn't do a commercial, but the food is off the charts, terrific. And as an Italian, I know a little bit about pasta, so I highly recommend. And then 2 weeks ago, I had dinner at the Altadena Country Club, and that was great as well. As you know, I always purchase the dinner there every time the Chamber of Commerce has their annual event, so I got to go there. So needless to say, I love Altadena, and it's nice to be here in my final couple weeks in the legislature to say hey and share a little bit about our relationship. And Dorothy knows me from the bicycle, so I had the pleasure of joining Dorothy for at least 2 bike rides. It might be 3. I know it's at least 2. To go around and see the Golden Poppy Awards and share a bike ride in Altadena. And she kicks my ass. I'm allowed to say that. She's like so. I mean,
Well, you are leaving, so.
Yeah, I bow down to how great a bike rider you are, and so it's just nice to see that the community comes together. And what I love about Altadena is it is a community. You know, so many people work here, the local businesses, the sense of pride, the togetherness. It really is a special place, and I have a soft spot for Altadena. So thank you for letting me come talk a little bit about you know, what's going on the way out. And I was looking, you know, when I was in the assembly, we got some money to help for Millard Canyon. I was able to recognize the Altadena Community Garden for their efforts to bring their mission to the community. And so it's been fun to just see folks. We got to see each other recently, and you're right to talk about what's happening to our trans community out there and just the politicization of the social issues. It's just, I don't know. My mom brought me up to be nice. You know, let's just be nice, right? Just be nice. I was just in Armenia for 3 weeks, and I taught at the American University of Armenia. And what struck me is you had conservative kids and liberal kids walk in together as friends, sit down together next to each other, argue passionately about some pretty big issues like Ukraine, I mean, big things, and then walk out with each other with smiles on their faces. It was really nice to see that we can disagree with or they could disagree with each other on core value issues and not hate each other. Because the moment the conversation was over, they were back to being friends. We got to get back to that. We got to stop. I'm sorry, I'm pontificating. So I don't get to do this at home because when I talk at home, nobody cares what I have to say. And so I get to do it when I'm out. But anyway, the point is the kids knew something that we need to take a lesson from. And so Altadena is that community where people have passion, but yet you all share a common vision and a common purpose of making this community special. And it is. So for me, it's been great to represent you. Obviously, public education has been a big part of my agenda. And moving school start time back. There was 35 years of research that said test scores go up and suicide goes down. I mean, think about that. Test scores go up and suicide goes down. Let me say that again. Graduation rate goes up and drug use goes down. The one that blew me away is car accidents and sports injuries went down because kids are more rested. So they don't have stupid injuries and they don't get in car accidents. So that was kind of, to me, a big equalizer in education is let's help kids be healthier so they all do better. The other issue, the governor put $25 million in the budget for dyslexia screening. You want to talk about a social justice issue? If you're the suburban parent, you have your pediatrician on speed dial, right? By Tuesday if there's a problem on Monday and when your kid's not reading. But there was a study out of Texas that had 70% of the inmate population were dyslexic. 70%, right? So becoming a reader as a first, second, and third grader is a big determinant of what's going to happen in your future. And so going forward, every first grader in California is going to be screened for the risk of dyslexia. And so that was a bill that I had authored, and then the governor decided to put it in the budget, and I said, great, let's fund it. So there's $25 million to do that. We changed autism care in California. Again, when Darrell Steinberg did the first autism bill for insurance coverage, they only named one provider. So if you were a family where your child got better care from a different provider, you had to pay out of pocket because only one provider had a monopoly. And so after 5 vetoes, because that one provider would lobby against expanding the network and the insurance companies would lobby against expanding the network, we were finally able to get a bill signed in the 6th effort. And we got lucky because I realized that the governor's chief medical advisor lived in South Pasadena and my chief autism pediatrician lived in South Pasadena. And when I realized they were neighbors, I said, can you guys just go out to lunch and figure this out and I'll pay for it? And lo and behold, they went out to lunch and they figured it out and we got a signature after 6 years. And so what made me feel really good is I saw that doctor at a South Pasadena education event and I went up and I said, thank you very much for breaking the logjam. And he was very nice and gracious. He said, Anthony, every legislator asked me to intervene in an issue and I just don't have the capacity to do it. But I knew this meant a really lot to you, and so I did it for you as much as I did. And that made me feel really good that he would say that. But I know he really cared, and it was great to have the 2 pediatricians together. The other issue that I think is important is gun violence. And I've done probably more sensible gun violence laws than anybody in the state of California over the last 25 years. And I don't look at it as a partisan issue, and I'll share why. If I say lock your car, is that a partisan statement or common sense? Right? Lock your car. Common sense. Shouldn't lock your gun be common sense? Why is that partisan? Right? If we know 68% of the shootings on campuses happen because somebody takes an unlocked gun from the house, right? Lock your damn gun. There you go. I'm good. I'm glad. The other thing is, if you let your 13-year-old take your car on a joyride and they ride through your neighbor's front window and they run over your neighbor, we're going to hold you responsible for what happened with your car. Shouldn't we hold you responsible for what happens with your gun? Why is that partisan? It's common sense. if you have to be 25 to rent a car, this is a technical term because we recognize that teenagers are shitty drivers, right? If you have to be 25 to rent a car, right? That's common sense based on data. Doesn't it make sense that you have to be at least 21 to buy a gun? Why is that partisan? With age comes more responsibility, more maturity, right? That's not partisan. It's common sense. So I did California's gun storage bills that created responsibility for gun owners to lock your gun. I think it makes sense. The other part of the conversation is when the Supreme Court threw out how we do concealed carry permits in the state. The Supreme Court said you can't have an arbitrary process. It can't be a county sheriff, I don't like you, so I'm not giving you a gun, right? It can't be arbitrary. The Supreme Court said you have to have concrete reasons why somebody gets a permit or not. So I codified concrete reasons. People said, oh, I'm penalizing great people. I said, no, I'm defining people who shouldn't have a gun. And let me give you an example. Sheriffs, if somebody's on Facebook threatening to kill people, should we give them a gun? Probably not, right? If you have a history of domestic violence abuse, if you're beating up your partner, should we give you a gun? That's not partisan. It's common sense. And so that's what the bill says. The other thing the Supreme Court said, you can have prohibited places. Sheriffs, do you think everybody in this room should be armed? This meeting place would be a prohibited place. When you go to your daughter's soccer game on AYSO at Victory Park, do you need a gun or an orange slice? You need an orange slice and a water bottle. You shouldn't have a weapon. So that's what the bill does. It defines who should be able to get a permit and where they should or should not be able to carry the gun. We passed laws and somebody realized that there was a flaw in our laws that if the gun was unloaded, all of our laws didn't apply. So people started putting the bullets in one pocket and carrying the gun on their hip and going into Applebee's and Starbucks. And one time 150 of them showed up in Old Town. They took the goal line to open carry their weapons. And so I did a bill that closed the open carry loophole. Again, let's have some common sense. A lot of my bills exempt out hunters. You know why? They're not the problem. So again, if we're reasonable and thoughtful about this stuff, we can actually make a difference. So I've loved my time in the legislature. I've loved representing Altadena. One last little bit on behavioral health. If any of you have teenagers, pull out their student ID. You see the suicide hotline number on student IDs. I'm the guy who put that on their student IDs. They used to put the football schedule on student IDs. I think the suicide hotline number is probably a more important number. I know some folks wanted to talk to me about the transitional housing facility. Again, I come back to where I started. Let's just be nice. You know, people need a place to live. They need a place to sleep. They need a place to get love and care. Now, if they're causing issues, work with the community. We can overcome anything if we put our mind to it. But I think at the end of the day, we should just all treat each other the way we were brought up to treat each other. If you ever watch kids, little kids, they get it right. We screw them up. And so let's just go back to being nice. So thank you for letting me be your state senator for the past 8 years, your friend for the past 25 years, and I look forward to seeing you all go eat across the street and get some. I haven't been to Fox's in a while. I know, but yeah, I have to go back to Fox's, so I haven't been there in a while. So anyway, thanks everybody, and I know you're going to hear from our great assembly member as well.
I know that typically you would do a senatorial decree of some sort. We didn't want to give you some more paper, so this is so that you will always remember all of us and Altadena and the great state, and it's from Webster's and the great state of California.
Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, Lisa's going to get us too. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
I do want to call attention to the fact that it's highly unusual that we would have both Senator Portantino and Assemblymember Holden here at the same time. And I love the relationship, the longstanding relationship that they have with each other and with this council, and appreciate you both being here on the same night. Before I introduce Assemblymember Holden, I just wanted to share a quick anecdote. Some people on the council will know this, and Chris certainly knows that I share this at every opportunity that I can. My father was the prior city attorney of Pasadena, and I had an opportunity to do an internship in the Human Resources Department, and I developed an onboarding form for them. They didn't have any way to onboard their employees at the time. And Chris Holden was a council member at the time, and I remember being sort of in awe of him and his stature and his role in city government for Pasadena. So imagine my surprise all the years later, not to age us at all, but many, many decades later, when I moved to Altadena to find out that he was the assemblyman representing this district. So my relationship with him feels very familial and goes back quite a long time, and I have certainly appreciated his friendship and his counsel during my time on this council. So without further ado, I would like to welcome you up to Assemblymember Holden.
Well, thank you, Victoria, and yes, Victor Coletta was the city attorney when I joined the city council in 1989. I know. Well, look, I think this crowd would recognize me as not being a teenager, so it's okay. It's all good. But also, let me just say a special thank you to Anthony Portantino. When I first met Anthony, he was on the city council in La Canada Flintridge, and he has made his way, matriculated, following some amazing representatives in the legislature, Carol Liu, Jack Scott, and many others, and he has certainly distinguished himself, and I think that we're going to look forward to seeing. Did he leave? Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, look, that's why I wear glasses, and you would think I'd be able to see better with them. But no, I think that when I came into the legislature and having an opportunity to join the class of 2012, it was an amazing opportunity because there were members who were in the assembly because they were on a short 6-year term, and then when they extended it to 12, there was an opportunity for them to move to the Senate. And so when Anthony had the opportunity to move to the Senate, he certainly was able to establish himself. And we were just joking, well, not joking, but just reflecting on the fact that at one point during my term and his term, our area was represented by the appropriations chair, not only in the Assembly, but in the Senate. And we were trying to understand, had that ever happened before? And maybe it has or maybe it hasn't, but certainly for our community, I think it was a great opportunity for us to be able to reflect on the needs of our community, on the district, the cities that we represent, and to know that we had someone who was watching the appropriation process with an eye not only towards issues that hit specifically on this area, but that we all care about that are statewide. And so to that end, I think we maybe established something that hasn't happened before, maybe it will happen again, but it's certainly been a pleasure to be able to serve with him. And it's been a pleasure to be able to represent the community of Altadena. This is a community that feels like your own city council, right? We know that the structure of government is what it is, and it has a role to play in providing resources to the unincorporated area. But you all are here because you want to be, and you're here because this is an amazing community to be able to represent, and to represent the issues and interests from the census tracts throughout the entire community of Altadena. But you feel like a city. You feel like a community that has more control over your destiny because you have a voice, and you have a supervisor and a board of supervisors that more times than not, I think, listens to you. But I think it's really important to note that in all of the communities that fall within the 41st Assembly District, You're the only community that is not a city that we were able to bring resources to address your libraries, to address the trails in Altadena, to improve those trails. I'm kind of stepping on top of my talking points here, but just from the heart, it's been an honor to be able to represent Altadena in the Assembly. I feel like I've been a part of this community my entire life. In many ways I have, having graduated from the school district here, the public schools, and having many friends that lived in Altadena, and relationships that have endured over the time on the city council, as well as my time in the legislature. And so it's been really an honor to be able to represent you. And I'm going to be really quick on the things that I want to share with you today, because, you know, one of the things when I ran for office, I had my sights set on protecting the natural environment and investing in deferred maintenance and infrastructure improvements from roads, bridges to highways. I made it my goal of creating policies that work to improve our water delivery systems, modernizing our electric grid to meet the challenges of a changing climate reliably and cost effectively. We began the year with an approximate $45 billion deficit. The legislature and the governor completed $17 billion in early actions, and the 2024-25 state budget plan reflected negotiations between the governor and legislative leaders to close the remaining $28 billion projected budget shortfall. The plan balances the state budget for both 2024-25 and 25-26 under the administration's current revenue and spending projections, and accomplishes this while using only about half of the rainy day fund, which leaves about $11 billion in the rainy day fund should we have need for it to address the 25-26 budget. Despite this year's budget deficits, my colleagues and I were successful in obtaining statewide funding prior to the pandemic during our state surplus years. $800 million for developmental disability service providers who help the nearly 330,000 Californians living with developmental disability in our state. $16.3 million to finish and maintain the California Early Earthquake Warning System, and this is in collaboration with JPL and with the community at large. So this area was very much a part of making sure that this item was addressed and in the budget, and that helps reduce damage, causalities to an earthquake. $3 million to expand speech-language pathologist training in the California State University system. Thus, funding will address the shortage of qualified teachers to help students with speech-related developmental and intellectual disabilities. During these short surplus years, I was able to secure close to $2 million for Altadena, $250,000 for the Altadena Central Library District to make building improvements and address the program and service needs, including a mobile library. I attended the ribbon cutting a few months ago and enjoyed seeing the launch of the Curiosity Volume 2 make its way to the neighborhood and region. $1.5 million for the Lavina Trail completion. This funding assisted the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority in their pursuit of creating 2 new trails that will provide public access for all of the Altadena Crest Trail, Cheney Trail, and the Angeles National Forest extensive networks. Investment in transportation has always been a priority of mine since the days that I was on the Pasadena City Council. I stepped into the legislature committed to completing the gold line through the San Gabriel Valley to Montclair, and with the Senator's help and our colleagues in the San Gabriel Valley, we were successful in doing so. As chair of the Select Committee on Regional Transportation Solutions, I held numerous meetings with stakeholders to increase awareness and encourage collaboration. I'm proud to report that in this year's budget, we were able to secure another $500 million to complete the funding for the Gold Line to Montclair. Since being elected to the Assembly in 2012, I've served under 2 governors and 2 administrations. Governor Jerry Brown and the current Governor Gavin Newsom both have signed more than 100 of my bills into law. Many of these legislative victories stem from conversations and collaborations from members of our community. Through community engagement, our office was able to take steps toward funding and delivering solutions that work. In the area of education, I took steps to remove barriers to dual enrollment access and successfully enact the College and Career Pathways Act in 2016. The data remains undisputable. Dual enrollment increases the number of college graduates, reduces the time and money spent on college, and helps close the achievement gap. Today, all 114 community colleges offer some form of dual enrollment, and we have examples of high school seniors graduating with both their high school diploma as well as their AA degree. And as I might add, John Muir this year graduated with 7 students, and one of them, or 2, had 2 AA degrees. I authored legislation that dealt with lead testing to ensure that our children have safe drinking water at schools. I collaborated with the governor and the Senate to enact the Wildfire Mitigation Fund that ensures that fire victims and businesses do not incur costs and expense arising from wildfires. In closing, as an assembly member for this district that I grew up in, and as I mentioned earlier, attended public education here, it has been an amazing opportunity to serve people that I grew up knowing. I returned home from graduating from San Diego State University with an express desire to give back and to serve. And it has been an amazing opportunity to have represented this region on the Pasadena City Council for 24 years and now 12 years in the California State Assembly. This is an honor of a lifetime. And I'm not sure exactly what next looks like. We've got some ideas, but I'm not done. And I just want you to know that as a community, we'll continue to collaborate and work closely together. And I thank you for your service, because at the end of the day, you know, whatever title one person happens to hold, it's irrelevant. It's what you do to give back to your community. If you see a problem, you collaborate to fix the problem. I don't focus on the titles, and I've been blessed to have positions of leadership, I think, from the day I entered the legislature. But it's been able to sit down, roll up our sleeves, and understand what the issues are and how best we can work together. We as those who are in elected position, but as a community. And so it's been an honor to be a part of addressing those issues collaboratively and to have had great staff to help me, because as the senator will note, we don't really get much done if we don't have great staff to be out there helping to get it done. So again, thank you for allowing me to come here today, and we look forward to working with you in the days to come. I also wanted to leave with you a resolution from the California State Assembly recognizing the entire community, all of you and what you do, but the entire community of Altadena. There are a number of whereases that are associated with this. I will not read them all, but I'll just let you know it's all from the heart. Read them all.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll hang it here. We'll pass it around so everybody can read it. All right. Certainly hard acts to follow, but not impossible for our Altadena Sheriff Station. Captain Williams making his way forward. You guys can go. No, I don't want
Good evening. Good evening. So I'll just start with a few stats. Our aggravated assaults, our violent crimes are down overall for the year, 24%. So we're happy about that. However, we did have an incident last week. There was a shooting in the area of Woodbury and Raymond. A car was traveling on the street, comes to a stop, another person exits another car, fires one shot into the car. The way the bullet traveled and hit the things in the car, the bullet ricocheted and lodged in the victim's face. So the person was rushed to the hospital, and fortunately, they are in stable condition. It was very, very fortunate, very blessed. The very next day, there was another shooting in the same area. Some words were exchanged for the first shooting, so it leads us to believe it was gang-related. We are investigating, and I'll update as information comes in. So, on to property crimes. Our property crimes are down 12% for the year. Our robberies are still up a little bit. However, they are trending down, so that's a good thing. And we're able to apprehend most of the suspects in those incidents. Our burglaries, specifically residential burglaries, are still up 44% for the year. However, that's a good increase, a good decrease. In the summer, it was up 88%, so we're trending down. So that's a lot of people are just protecting their property. Neighborhood watch groups are banding together, and that seems to be working. However, this is the time of year where property crimes usually go up. So please be aware of your situations. Secure your vehicles and homes. We have a lot of package thefts, a lot of mail theft, and a lot of break-ins in cars. You'd be surprised, a lot of the theft from the cars are from unlocked vehicles. Secure your property as best as you can. That's the biggest advice I can give. We do have a way of reporting a lot of these crimes to the Sheriff's Department. Instead of coming into the station or calling for the deputies to come out, we have what we call our SORTS, Sheriff's Online Reporting Tracking System. We encourage people to use this. It's you apply for it, or it applies for certain property crimes, theft under $950, things like that. So if you have a cell phone that's lost or stolen, you don't need to come to the station or have a deputy come out. If you want that, we will still come. However, you can get on your computer or your smartphone, lasd.org, and you can report it then. A lot of people just need the file number for insurance purposes. So we encourage people to use that. We're pushing it out. I have some flyers in the back. Please take one. It gives more information on that. Hiking in the trails. We had an unfortunate incident Sunday evening into Monday morning. So I'll spend a little bit of time on this. Someone was reported missing. They found their vehicle near one of the hiking trails. Search and rescue did a search through the night into the morning, and unfortunately they found the person deceased. It's very important when people go hiking, and anywhere, especially in our trails, it's getting dark sooner than people expected, and people are going into these trails. It's well lit, misjudging the time, and things change with the lighting. Please be prepared. Have equipment. If you know you're going during the day, still carry a flashlight. You never know what's going to happen. Also, please let family and friends know where you are and when to expect you back. And if possible, partner up with people when you go hiking. There's a lot of incidents we have where people are hiking alone, and it's becoming an issue. So now I know the audience that maybe listen to me now or mainly Altadena and Pasadena residents. We're finding that a lot of the incidents we have with hiking are from people not in this area. So we're trying to get this information out countywide, and if you can, pass that on to family and friends that like to hike in this area. Very important. You don't want to see anyone suffer from any hardship due to a hiking. Hiking is a great way of exercising. Should be fun, and we want to keep it that way. Other than that, just a few events. We had our neighborhood watch group meeting last month. It was very successful. We plan to have more of those in the future. We'll have Deputy Ballion. He will plan one very soon, so that should be coming. We have a food drive going on now, so if you want to give canned foods or other type of foods, please bring them to the station. The box is no longer there. However, if you still want to leave the food, you can just have somebody from the inside the station come and collect the food. We are still collecting all the way until past Thanksgiving. Toy drives will be going on. Matter of fact, let's just start it now. It is happening. Please come to the station if you want to donate a toy. We've been very successful in the past with toy drives, and we want to continue that. We normally collect a lot of toys that we're able to pass out to young people. Some adults like the toys too. You know, so. Other than that, that's it. I just want to talk about our sheriff support group. They are looking for more members. They really help us out with doing things in the community. National Night Out, open house. They help us adopt a family for the holidays. Their membership has dwindled over the past, and they are now actively seeking new membership. They do a lot to help Altadena Station and the Altadena community. I have a treat, so I want to bring up Deputy Taylor. As she comes up, I just want to introduce you to Deputy Taylor. She's one of our newly assigned deputies. She's been here nearly close to a year, fresh off training. She went through the rigors of training here in Altadena. You know, coming face to face with a bear is very scary. You know? So you don't have to speak unless you want to, but just wave to that camera. You know. Now you're famous. You know. Anything you'd like to say, or?
I'm glad I get the opportunity to meet you guys, some of the council members, and everybody. It's very nice to meet you. That's it.
And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Captain, if folks are interested in the sheriff support group, what do they do?
Yes, so I'm glad you mentioned that. So call the station. That's 626-798-1131, and ask for Deputy Ballion, and he will get you in contact with the membership. So Deputy Taylor's here to protect me also. So.
Oh, bodyguard. Are there any questions for Captain Williams? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I had one quick question about the gift. You want them new unwrapped presents? What do you want?
Yes, just unwrapped gifts. That's fine.
New, okay. Yeah. And then we, in our little Bahadina part of the world here, had 6 larceny, grand theft, and petty theft from cars. Is there an area in 4613, which is, down, where we are, right down in the...
You're at the...
I have a Pasadena address.
The, what's the hiking?
Southeast...
Eaton Canyon, is that...
Yeah, well, south of Eaton Canyon.
South of New York.
So is Eaton Canyon in
South of New York. No, Eaton Canyon's not in mine.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Okay, but some people park in those surrounding areas. Is it walking distance to Eaton Canyon?
Okay. It's not Washington Boulevard?
That could...
No, it's 413 Washington in New York.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I would have to look specifically at each incident.
I'll catch up with you
we
later.
are seeing, we have a volunteer that's mapping out some of the incidents here in Altadena. He's doing a very good job. He's a genius at it. And we're going to be able to strategize a little bit better based on the times and dates that these type of crimes are occurring. So you're welcome. All right.
Did I see another question over on this side of the room? No? Okay.
I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to
It's
you
my
too.
favorite holiday of the year. So you guys have a great one.
Thank you so much, and you too. And welcome, Deputy Taylor. Moving on to California Highway Patrol, I saw Officer Keller here, and there he is.
Good evening, Council and members of the community. I'm Officer Keller with the California Highway Patrol out of the Altadena office. I'm glad I didn't have to follow the senators. They had great speeches. I can only wish one day I could do that well of a job. So for our safety stats, or the traffic stats for the month of October, there were a total of 21 crashes within the unincorporated Altadena that we investigated. 2 of them were hit and runs. There were 7 crashes with injuries and a total of 10 parties with complaint of pains. There was 1 traffic crash with a DUI investigated, and the results of that will be determined at a later time. Looking over the crashes, I saw no pedestrian nor bicycle crashes. I believe we had a moped or a motor-driven bike collision crash, but no peds or bikes, which I'm very happy to see. I did notice we had a number of crashes in intersections with 4-way stops, so please take your time at intersections, stop for the signs, and yield right away. There are also multiple vehicles crashing into parked vehicles, and the rest were pretty much lane changes or minor collisions with turning movements. We investigated both 2 crashes that were notable. One was with a fire truck with no injuries, as well as a sheriff patrol car with no injuries. Happy to report. Lost my train of thought there. It was there, and all right. So we're going to move on to the Highway Patrol. We are going to have our Chips for Kids kickoff starting tomorrow. You'll be seeing our ads on television as well as on the radio. We're going to try to schedule some dates if anyone in the community wants to personally drop off toys at our office. But look, I'll have more information. I'll provide it to the council when I have those solid dates. Wet weather is approaching. We do have a system coming in on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Please check over your car. Do basic vehicle maintenance. Check your tires. Check your wipers. Change those wipers out before the rain comes. Save a crash you don't want to have to deal with. Other than that, that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Go ahead. No? No.
So you will see myself and Officer Bay. We more often than not split up the Altadena, La Crescenta, Pasadena areas. We have been heavily focused on the schools, Elliott, Magnet, Odyssey, Avison. So hopefully you saw us. Please wave. We are friendly most of the time. But we do divide and conquer, so it's usually one or the other, but we are out here. And again, if you do see anything specific, please feel free to send me or Officer Bay an email, and we will make ourselves available to assist with that.
Okay, go ahead. We have a question for you.
The trailer.
Which one? The one on Altadena?
Yeah. Is it, so I know you're doing some work somewhere, but.
We are doing specific enforcement, and I got a number of citations at that very location. Going up and down Altadena is a typical route, stopping whatever we see along the way, and we even stop and shoot radar or LiDAR. Main thoroughfares, even side streets, you'll never know where we are until you see our flashy lights.
Good description.
But
No,
yes.
I was just putting another vote out there again for Lincoln and West Altadena.
Okay, yes, and the one on Altadena, it got moved during the construction, so it lost some battery power.
I did want to say that I noticed a collision in the Altadena Drive Holliston four-way stop recently. I think it was just last week. I drive through that intersection multiple times a day, multiple days a week. We have a failure to stop at that intersection, which is precisely why we put the four-way stop in. So rolling through that because you don't see someone coming in the opposite, in the bisecting direction is not a stop. So to Officer Keller's point, we do have a tendency in Altadena to roll through our stops, and it would be really helpful, especially as we move through this holiday season. I would hate to see a child, a family member, or a loved one hit because somebody was distracted or didn't take the time to stop fully at one of our stops. So please keep that in mind as you're driving through town. And I think I had another question over here.
It's not traffic related, but I was thinking the other day, it's either you or Officer Boyd or Officer Bay, I don't remember who, but one of you guys had a baby like a year ago. Was that Officer Bay? He doing okay? Is he
Doing great.
All right, cool.
Yes, everything's good. All the kids are happy, looking forward to Christmas, especially Christmas Tree Lane, which we will be in attendance at, and we look forward to seeing all of you there.
And I think that there might have been a question from someone in the audience. So if you want to just grab Officer Keller as he walks by and ask your question, you can more than happy to do that. And I thank you for your time, and we'll see you definitely on the lane and out and about in town.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
LA County Fire, we have Assistant Fire Chief Sprengel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Officer Keller, for pointing out the traffic accidents to the fire department. Thanks for putting us on blast, and I'm sure Captain Williams appreciates the deputies being shouted out too, so appreciate that. We get everybody, I guess. All right, good evening. Glad to be here with you. Maria is teaching CERT tonight, so she won't be with you, but I'm happy to take her place here tonight. I never do as good a job as she does, but it is what it is, right? So for Altadena, Community of Altadena for October of 2024, 370 total responses, 370. 286 patients receiving medical care. 237 of those patients were transported for medical complaint. There were 2 fires reported. One was a residential fire with a fire that was contained to the chimney. One was a garage fire with fire confined to a portable battery generator. 67 good intent calls and 6 traffic accidents reported. One of those was a report as a vehicle versus pedestrian. So our safety tip of the month, Thanksgiving is the leading day of the year for residential fires involving cooking equipment. Please follow the following safety tips. Stay in the kitchen when cooking on the stovetop. Stay in the home while cooking your turkey. If you're deep frying your turkey, ensure it's completely thawed. Cook it outside, away from anything that can burn, including vehicles, garages, and patios. And that is from past experience over some years. And I've seen all of those burn while cooking deep fried turkeys. Keep a fire extinguisher close by. And then just another reminder that we're still in fire season. The fire season will typically continue to at least get a couple inches of rain on the ground. So currently this week, starting today through Thursday, we are in what we would call a week Santa Ana event. We have staffed appropriately in the area. We've moved up engine companies, done some extra staffing for aircraft, extra hand crews, as we always do for these types of events. So we got to get through Thursday evening. And then again, although we're not in red flag, we're right there flirting with red flag. We don't need red flag to have a large fire in the area. So just be prepared. Let's continue to stay vigilant like we have. And typically this time of year between Halloween and New Year's, we have on average 7 to 10 events of Santa Ana type events with varying severity and varying lengths. So certainly is a long couple months, but we will get there, and let's just make sure that we do our job as residents to make sure we stay vigilant and keep up on the fire protection as we do through the year. So with that, that concludes my report, but any questions from you if you have any?
Questions? Go ahead.
On October 19th, there was a hazmat response in our census tract. I was just wondering if anything, or what it was, or did they find anything?
I'm not going to have anything here to pull back on, but I will take a look at that October 19th.
Kim, you might want to reach out to him by email so that he can just respond.
Yep.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Mine's just a thank you. This is John. I've been emailing you for the street closure.
Yep.
So I just want to say thank you for being so responsive and just.
No problem. We'll get on it. It's not a big deal. It's not
I just wanted to say thank you, in public, and your support's been super helpful.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions?
We always like the support we get from you guys also. It goes hand in hand. It's teamwork for sure. So
we certainly appreciate everything.
We're lucky here. We have great law enforcement with the CHP and the sheriffs, and we work hand in hand on a daily basis to get things done. And it does. It takes everybody, and the residents included on that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Okay. I know. Okay, we're moving on to Forestry. Ranger Kidd, I thought I saw you in the back there.
Sorry if I can interrupt. I've lost the can. Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh, good evening. So I'm passing around a map of a fuel break project a fuel reduction project that we're going to be doing here pretty soon in Millard, or Cheney Trail, around the rec residence and the campground there, to reduce fire risk from coming out of that development. That's 50 acres. We're not going to be burning. We're going to just be doing some cutting, chipping of the material, just to disperse it so it's not as flammable. The Forest Service is also looking at a replacement for the restroom in the Millard campground area. We're still requesting funding for that facility, and I'll update on that as we get further along. Of course, we're always looking for future fuels projects to reduce wildfire risk in the community, so I'll be looking at reporting out on that in the future meetings with you all. I was here a couple months ago, and I think it was before the monument expansion was signed. So the National Monument has been expanded all the way to the 14 freeway. A lot of people ask, what does that mean? Not really much. We're just changing the name for a better term. Hopefully that will give us some more funding, but that's not what we're getting from DC at this time. It does change our ability to add roads, not that we're proposing to add any roads, but transportation system within a monument is basically frozen. So, and any questions?
On this map, sorry, over here.
Go ahead.
Okay.
On this map, what is the notation of I mean, I understand the Millard part, but are these just your roads that you
Correct, that's just the road system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, Ranger Kidd. Thanks for being here.
Okay.
Always good to communicate with you. It's
Okay.
Nick. I'm looking at the map, so I'm assuming the black line represents where the cutaway is happening?
Correct.
Okay.
The hash mark.
Thank you.
The hash mark. Oh,
That
here.
polygon.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right.
So it's only 50 acres at this time, but we'll look to expand it in the future.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So nice to have you. It was good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you for coming. I love the clapping. Okay, we need to recognize the kids that were here last month in establishing that we clap after every presentation now. So be prepared.
I would encourage everyone to watch the recording from last month because it's fun to watch Chair Knapp be annoyed by the clapping at some point.
Okay, thank you for calling that out. Wow.
I think we like the wolf a little better.
Keep me humble. Okay, we are moving on to our library and Director Nikki Winslow.
Okay, I expect the loudest applause, everyone. Thank you. Oh, right now, thank you. All right, good evening, council members, community members, and previous elected officials. Thanks as usual for time to update the community on your Altadena libraries. Also, happy Native American Heritage Month, happy Thanksgiving, and happy holidays, because I won't be presenting next month. So our typical building project update. Who's driven by Bob Lucas lately? Anyone? Doesn't it look great? I'm so excited. It's really coming along. We're over 50% completed now. They're finalizing the roof, going to be starting drywall and working on the interior soon, so really excited about that. This is a view of the completed roof from inside the building. Yeah, so if you want to move to the next slide. This is actually a view from the outside of the newly added literacy center. So that's on the north side of the library. If you see behind it, that's where the mural wall is, just to give you some context and where the driveway used to be. And then the next slide is a view of the expansion on the southeast corner, which is now going to be a dedicated children's room. So it's really starting to come together and you can see it, which is exciting. So we are on track to finish it in the spring of 2025, and we'll get everybody information about the grand reopening this spring. Work continues on the main library design and construction as well. Right now we're working through an environmental impact review process with the county currently. I'm also excited to share that I've been working with LA County also on securing an agreement to use Loma Alta Park as an alternate site when we do close the main library. We're hoping to start work in summer of 2025, but again, working through permitting process. As usual, you can check out our website for the latest updates. That's on the next chapter page. As an aside, our website has been having issues, so if any of you have been trying to use the website, I did want to let everyone know it's been crashing on and off the last few months. So our IT staff and my marketing specialist are literally transitioning the entire website to a new hosting platform. So thank you for your patience, probably this week and maybe into next week. If you're having issues, that's what it is. But it will be cleaned up and much better once the new website launches, and hopefully it feels like it's just the site and you won't notice. So next slide. We have really enjoyed celebrating National Native American Heritage Month at the Altadena Library. This included partnering with the Gabrielino Tongva tribe to do a program about their creation story on November 2nd. We also had Native American dance with Ben Hale and the Gabrielino Tongva tobacco prayer ties last weekend. We do still have one upcoming program on Saturday, November 30th at 11 a.m., which is pictograph rock painting. So check it out. How many of you know we have a library of things at the library? Cool. This includes laptops, Wi-Fi hotspots, hiking backpacks, telescopes, bike locks, blood pressure monitors, sewing machines, you name it. Like, the collection continues to expand. We are always continuing to add more things to the collection, so if there's things you'd like to see added, please reach out and share those suggestions with us. And in case you didn't know, we also recently this year added a tool lending library. You can find that at Plant Material on the corner of Lincoln and Altadena. So if there's a tool you don't have, there's chances maybe it's at our tool lending library. So check that out. All you need is your library card. I'm also really proud of the work our Youth and Family Services team has done in the last year, building a very robust early literacy collection, services, and partnerships. Not only does this include early equity kits, Love Every Play kits, literacy kits, et cetera, it also includes a relaunch of our 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program, and also becoming a hub site with the Pasadena Early Childhood Hub Network, which provides connections to local medical and dental services, childhood development resources, and more. If you're a parent of a child 0 to 5, or you know someone who is, please send them our way. There's like a ton of resources that we've added in the last year. And then lastly, our art curation team has done another amazing exhibit called On the Trail, Art of Eaton Canyon by local artist Gregory Michael Hernandez. It's available to view not only in the community room, but also on the main floor of the library through December 31st. So please come check that out. And before I'd go, even though they're not here, I'd also like to personally thank Assemblymember Holden and Senator Portantino for their many years of service to Altadena. They've been such advocates and cheerleaders of our Altadena libraries, especially in the 5 years that I've been here and have been able to observe. I wish them the best, but they're definitely going to be missed. So that's what I've got. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Just hit 5. Yeah, November 4th was my 5-year anniversary. I know. Time flies. Exactly.
Hey, Nikki, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very excited about the Bob Lucas Library, by the way. Super excited, Lieutenant Block. What was the additional square footage that the Bob Lucas Library is going to have once it's all done?
To start was around 1,800 square feet. We're adding approximately 900 to 1,000, so almost a 50% increase in square footage. But that doesn't include the outdoor reading court that we're going to be adding as well. So really the building is going to be much, much larger if you look at the exterior space as well. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What was the hosting site you were using for your website, and what did you switch to? Are you willing to tell me?
I mean, I know that we were with a platform called Bluehost, and we're switching to Squarespace.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And my poor IT manager, I met with him today. He's graying by the minute right now. So,
Councilmember O'Malley?
It's not a question. This is my 5th year on the council. I was on land use for 1 year. I'm retiring, and this is the last chance that I'm going to have to do this. So I just really wanted to thank you for everything you've done, not just for the library, but for the community, and making that place a hub for people to come together and do awesome things. And you're amazing, and I just wanted you to know that.
Oh, thanks, Chris. It's
Aw,
a
the
great
sentimentality.
job. It's a very fun job. I'm happy to do it.
He has a heart. Okay, any other questions before we let her go? And we wish you a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is Judy Matthews here? She's in the back. Oh, she's behind. I couldn't see her back there. The Chamber of Commerce is coming up. Behind me?
Good evening, everyone. Altadena Chamber of Commerce would like to share the following events that are of interest to us all and to keep our community involved and informed. Thursday, November 21st, 2024 at 12 noon, this will be the final webinar of the year and is hosted by the Altadena Chamber as part of the San Gabriel Valley Association of Chamber Executives series addressing future business in 2024. I hope you join that virtual. Tuesday, December 3rd at 10 a.m., Altadena Chamber of Commerce is excited to host its first hybrid open session board meeting right here, followed by a holiday festivity at the community center. Light refreshments will be provided. Please join our open session. Join the Altadena Chamber of Commerce on Friday, December 6, 2024, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the annual Sip and Shop at Mariposa Junction as we go country western. local vendors, community tables, art and craft, kids' corner, drawings, and more. This event presents an opportunity to showcase your business to hundreds of community members and to support drawings that benefit the Chamber's scholarships. Live performances by Sharon Moore Band and Josh Hart, the guitarist and harmonica player. Parking is available at the Altadena Library and round-trip hayride transportation that will bring you here to the alley for attendees. We are also excited to announce our holiday marketing campaign. The Altadena Chamber will provide a complete list featuring all participating member businesses, along with a special holiday marketing campaign designed to drive customers to your businesses. For this campaign, we invite you to create a holiday promotion for the weekend of the Sip and Shop. That means from Friday, December 6th to Sunday, December 8th, to entice shoppers to explore the wonderful offerings at our various businesses here in Altadena. To participate, please visit our website. Information for these events and others, you will find it there at our website, altadenachamber.org. Thank you, happy Thanksgiving, and have a wonderful evening.
Judy, before you go,
Yes,
I just
ma'am.
wanted you to know that we are paying for our insurance with a check this evening, right, Mr. Treasurer? And so we will have the proof of insurance for you for the December 6th event.
Okay.
Don't take that. That's probably not enough.
Okay.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Oh my God, here we go. Okay. We have Scott Wardlow from Christmas Tree Lane to tell us all about what's up and coming.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to start off by thanking the council for inviting me to give you a little bit of an update on what's happening on Christmas Tree Lane. But I'd like to also thank the community. For everybody that's here has been involved, I'm sure at one time or another, in the whole process of putting the lights up and taking them down, or in our event. And I'd like to thank, even though some are gone, Senator Portantino and Assemblyperson Holden, who've showed up at our event on the stage for many, many years, and they'll be greatly missed. And the Highway Patrol, Captain Jabari, and the Sheriff's Department Fire Department have all been wonderful to us and very supportive, as all of you have. I know many of you are members, and thank you for that as well. To update you, we, as of a week ago Saturday, we completed putting the lines up on the lane. So we're done with that. That takes us typically 10 weekends, and it's all volunteers. That's another point I wanted to make. We've always been volunteers. Everybody is volunteer, no staff, nobody's paid. So it's amazing to me every year the amount of people that show up and help us just out of the goodness of their hearts. And I would encourage any of you who haven't to come on out and give it a try. You know, volunteers are very nice folks. And I think aside from doing a good service for the community, you'll get a reward out of it yourself just with the people that you meet. Before I forget, I wanted to point out that we have lots of high school students. Again, that was curtailed during the height of the pandemic, and now we're able to do that again. And that has been, I think, great for all of us. Of course, it helps us on the lane, but I think it's great for the kids too, because it gives them a chance to see as teenagers that they're effective in their community. You know, and they learn skills as well. So I think it works for everybody. But we did finish a week ago Saturday, and our big event is coming up. I want to remind everybody that that is 1 week earlier this year. Oh, and I'm sorry, Nikki as well. I had to acknowledge her in the library because we have our event, the Winter Festival primarily takes place in the parking lot of the library, and she has very generously facilitated that for us every year. But the event this year is a week earlier, December 7th. We, the board, responded to the community generally. Most people have asked us why we don't have it earlier. And so we responded to that, voted on it, and we are having it this year the first Saturday of December rather than the second. And the lights will be on from 5:30 until midnight every day after the lighting ceremony until January 5th. And that's actually after New Year's to accommodate Orthodox churches because that's their Christmas. But on the day of the ceremony and Winter Festival, the Winter Festival starts at 3 p.m. and goes until 9. Mariposa and Santa Rosa will be essentially closed down for the area surrounding the library. But the stage presentation will be from 6 o'clock until 6:30. And at 6:30, Supervisor Barger does the countdown, and boom, the lights all go on at 6:30, we hope. You know, I try to choreograph this so it's timed to the second, and it usually works pretty closely, but no guarantees. We're hoping it's 6:30. And so I hope all of you will come out and participate in that in one way or the other. And whether you come to just enjoy it or if you come to volunteer, because we still need volunteers for that event. And you can do that this year for the first time easily by going to volunteers@christmastreelane.net. That's volunteers@christmastreelane.net. And you can sign up there and we will accommodate you, we hope, with the time that's convenient for you. We will be taking down the lights as we have to every year. Sometimes people ask us why we do, and it's mandated by the county because the county is taking care of the trees and trimming them and stuff, and they don't want those lines up when they do that. So we will be taking down the lights starting about mid-February, and that's an 8-week process. Well, it's 8 weekends. I don't mean to. 10 weekends to put them up and 8 weekends to take them down. And again, we'd welcome anybody who wishes to volunteer and find out what that's like. And I think you'll be happy with the experience if you do that. Did anyone have any questions?
Go ahead.
Just out of curiosity, would you have volunteer opportunities for an 8-year-old?
We do.
Yeah? You can put him to work?
We do, and usually that's things like screwing the light bulbs in the lines for putting up.
But what about for taking them down?
And it's same thing. They remove the light bulbs, and we have baskets for them. They can do that. In fact, our current vice president, my vice president, and our current foreman, I'm sure many of you know Tony Ward. He used to be the foreman and president. His right-hand man was actually a right-hand kid, Derek Nowak, who has been volunteering since he was 8 years old. And now he's about ready to graduate from Cal Poly Pomona. So he learned everything at the side of Tony Ward, and we've had kids lots younger than 8. So you're welcome. Any other questions?
Any other questions? So if you have not been, I encourage you to get out, and it's a wonderful event, and it brings people from all over LA County to see what we have here in Altadena that doesn't exist anywhere else. Yeah. So we thank you so much for your stewardship and for coming tonight to let everybody know, and we'll see you on the lane for sure.
Thank you. Thank you again for inviting me.
Sure thing. Thanks, Scott. Okay, applause. You can't not applaud for Scott. Christmas Tree Lane. There we go. Okay, turning it over for the Acona report from the Acona chair, Nick Arnzen.
Thank you. In addition, or aside, and separate, completely separate from my council member, I will do it from here, but imagine me there. I also chair the ACONA team. ACONA is Altadena Coalition of Neighborhood Associations, and they have been diligently making sure that us as residents have all of our concerns and our questions answered by typically county organizations, but any things that rise to the surface. So there's a great planning committee that decides what topics to choose from, and that is chosen from a survey. And recently, the West San Gabriel Valley area plan has risen to the top quite unanimously. So tomorrow night in this very room, we will be hearing some clarification about the plan and focusing on concerns that impact Altadena. So I hope you can join us. Thank you, Chair.
More information?
It's at 7 p.m. and it ends very, very on time at 8:30.
Is there a virtual component?
There is a Zoom. There are flyers on the back table. You can go to aconaonline.org to click on the Zoom link, because the more we can hear from, and I should, if I could mention, we want to make sure we hear, I'm switching over to council member here. The council would love to write a letter of position on this. We'd love to do more of those, council, and starting with the West San Gabriel Valley area plan, we need to hear from the community to see what that position is. Because we as council members, while we have opinions, in a very real way, we rely on your opinions. So we need to hear from you. Please zoom in online and come in person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions about the ACONA meeting? Okay. Thank you so much. All
Madam
right.
Chair.
Oh, so sorry. Go ahead.
Before we go to land use, I did ask Captain Williams about the toy drive, and they are looking for gift cards for teens as well, because the toy drive will go up to the age of 18. So oftentimes the younger children get a lot of toys and the teens get left out. So just to remind you about that.
That's an excellent reminder. Okay, so gift cards for teens for the various toy drives that are going on for the holidays in Altadena. Okay, moving on to our committee reports, and we're going to try to do this in as quick a fashion as we can so we can get through public comment as well. Land use, Chair Markinson.
Yes, the Land Use Committee met 2 weeks ago and reviewed the Junebug tattoo location for a CUP, and the committee voted unanimously to recommend approval of the project with no conditions, but John is going to take off and do the presentation tonight.
Thank you. This is officially my first project, so thank you, Chair Markson.
You're doing fine.
For all your help. Okay, and here we go. In the matter of RPPL 202-400-312 for Junebug Tattoo, located at 2549 North Fair Oaks Avenue, the Altadena Town Council completed due diligence and finding no objections in the community, we recommend approval of this project without conditions.
Okay.
Do I take a motion?
Hold on.
All in favor?
Wait, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Diane?
He's a little ahead of himself.
Yes.
Technically, you should make a motion, then we should second it,
So-
and there's
Okay.
discussion. But
Yeah.
We never do that.
Is the applicant here?
She's not.
Okay. Would you please do your report of how many people you talked to, and you have the numbers on that?
We roughly, between the three of us, we roughly spoke to about 40 people over the course of a weekend, which was Labor Day weekend, this past Labor Day. No objections. Everyone that we spoke with directly were excited that she was opening up her business. They were excited that it was a women-owned and operated business as well. No objections. Everyone, actually, there's a few people that actually recommended her business to people already, and they were just all, very positive and very welcoming about her being present on Fair Oaks.
Right, and this is a business that's been open for a while.
It's been open for about a
doing
year.
Retroactive
Correct.
CUP. I
And
don't know if
for
people know that
anybody,
in the county of Los Angeles, tattoo parlors need a CUP.
correct. And then just in terms of hours of operation, because there's a couple of questions about that, it's not open to the public, so basically it's appointment only from the hours of 12 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Are there any questions from the council? Go ahead, Chris.
I don't have a question.
You don't?
I was just going to second the motion.
Oh, okay, well, we can do that.
Okay, so we have a motion
And a second.
and a second.
Is there any additional discussion? Okay, go ahead, you can.
Okay, so.
We don't have
Whoops.
public comment on it.
We have no public comment on this? No?
No.
Okay. Okay, so in the matter of,
No,
hold on.
Okay.
All in favor of the CUP before us, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstention? Okay, so that passes unanimously, and we will get a letter so that that can go down to regional planning. So now let's follow up on the letter.
Got it.
Got it.
I will. Thank you. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks, John. Congratulations on your first one. And welcome, Junebug Tattoo. Okay, we're moving on to 6.2 Safe Streets. Councilmember Wong.
Thank you, Chair. So our next Safe Streets meeting, it meets on the fourth Thursday of every month. And we are actually hosting one because of the holidays this Thursday, the 21st of this month, 7 p.m. via Zoom. Thank you very much. And let me back up with just my other little thoughts here. I did want to say today, this past Sunday was the World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims. And in Los Angeles County, 762 people were killed just this last year in a traffic crash. So I would like to honor 6 of our community members, 7 actually, I don't have the name of one other who have died in this last 2-year period. So let's have a moment of silence for John Michael Ross, Emily Marie Ortiz, Antonio Hernandez, Veliz Membrano Oriano, Tarni Falloon, Kent Pulver, and one unknown person in our community has passed away. So please, everyone, slow down on the streets as Councilmember Chair Knapp had described. And the West San Gabriel Valley Area Plan also has a mobility element. So maybe you guys can look at that before tomorrow's meeting, if you have anything you want to say about that, as well as the general plan element, traffic safety and mobility. And I know we're working on addressing things, so thank you to all the council members. Walk audits are also an amazing tool, and the county is going to be coming back to community engagement for the final phase of the bicycle master plan. I don't have a date, but it's coming up in the future is all I've heard. And also, last but not least, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There we go. Thank you. Okay. All right, moving on to 6.3, West San Gabriel Valley Area Plan. Chair Morona.
Thank you. The West San Gabriel Valley Area Plan has not been said enough this evening. On September 25th, the Los Angeles County Regional Planning Commission conducted a public hearing to consider the West San Gabriel Valley Area Plan and final EIR. The Planning Commission raised this to the Board of Supervisors for a vote at the December 10th board meeting. That will be at 500 West Temple, room 381B in Los Angeles. Public comment is requested, and you may do it either in person at the December 10th board meeting. You may go online and look up the LA County Board of Supervisors meeting. There is a number to call in, or if you wish, you may send your comments directly by email, either to the supervisor's office or to the Board of Supervisors themselves. Catherine Barger is KATHRYN at bos.lacounty.gov. And if you want any further information, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Election Committee, Pat Sutherlen.
Thank you. And this is my report on the 2024 Altadena Town Council election. The 2024 Altadena Town Council election was held on November the 5th and the 9th. On November the 5th on Mariposa in front of the library. On November the 9th at the library, also at Prime Pizza. and at West Altadena Wine and Spirits. Council members, you were provided with the results on November the 10th, so I won't repeat it here. I won't repeat the results here. The election committee consisted of myself, Kim Yu, John Carmody, Sylvia Vega, with a valued assistance from Victoria Knapp. There are a combination of statistics, and these are a combination of statistics and personal observations. There were 271 votes cast for the 10 candidates. It's possible that if more candidates had opposition, there would have been a higher vote count. However, we will welcome 2 new members to the council after the swearing in next month. Darlene Green in Census Tract 4603.02 and Adam Vervelis, I think I probably messed that name up again, in Census Tract 4612. But Adam knows who he is.
Not to interrupt you, I just wanted to make everyone aware that they're both here, so welcome, and we'll be seeing you again next month, so thank you for being here. Go ahead.
Thank you. Our voting sites were worked by 16 residents and 7 council members, those who are not running for re-election this year. I think I visited with just about everyone who gave their time, and I heard again and again, I had such a good time doing this. It was a couple of nice days, and people enjoyed seeing their neighbors and making some new friends. At one site, a young resident was excited to be able to vote for the first time. At another site, a poll worker told me that it was wonderful for small children to see their parents vote in an election. After I asked the council members to certify the election results, I will provide this information, which will include those results for the November minutes and to be marked as Schedule A. Are there any questions from council members? In that case, I move to, thank you very much. It's been a long month.
All right, we have a motion to certify the results of the election. Do we have a second? All right, we had a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? One for who ran for himself? Or because you, yeah, okay. Anyone else? Okay, we're gonna, all right, so we've got 2 abstentions. And then anyone opposing? No, so that carries. So we welcome all of you back who are coming back, and we welcome those who will be joining us in December. Thank you very much. It was a lot of work. I think that it's underestimated how much it takes to pull off a local election like this, so we appreciate everyone who had a hand in doing so, and to Pat Sutherlen for leading the charge. Okay, we are moving on to our communication committee. That is Chair Arnzen. I can't talk either.
It's very brief. We're working on creation of a far-reaching email list, focusing on community leaders and organizations who can then send along town council information to their own lists. We're in the process of creating a monthly blast to send residents a recap each month of our meetings, links to the survey, and the community slideshow that we create each month, which highlights programs and calendar events around town. And lastly, we continue many other efforts, as always, actively seeking community volunteers and leaders to help us in our efforts to keep Altadena well-informed and connected. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to our holiday party. That would be me. The December 17th Altadena Town Council meeting will be held in the Bruins locker room at the Rose Bowl Stadium. We are grateful for the invitation by the Rose Bowl Stadium to not only host our meeting, but give Altadenans the opportunity to tour our grand stadium and enjoy holiday bites. Even as a lifelong Pasadenan turned Altadenan, I had never toured the stadium until recently. We hope to see many of you there. There is a flyer in the back of the room that will also be circulated to email distribution lists and posted online. An RSVP will be required so we can plan the number of people wishing to attend a tour and for food. And there's a QR code at the bottom of this to RSVP, and there will also be a link in the email and in the social media posts. I want to personally thank Dominic Corey for hosting us, and to our other community partners, Altadena Chamber of Commerce, Altadena Rotary, and the Altadena Library Foundation for joining the FET. Thank you too to Pasadena Media for accommodating our meeting there. So we look forward to seeing many of you on December 17th. Education Committee Chair Vega.
Good evening. I'm going to shorten our report just for time. A big thank you to the Altadena Library for hosting a tour, and to El Patron, Cindy Nucio, for providing lunch for the interns. Special thanks to Prime Pizza and Altadena Pizza Company for recent Friday lunch donations. We are seeking additional restaurants or individual donations to help provide lunch for the 12 interns on Fridays. Please reach out to Councilmember Molden or myself if you'd like to assist. Measure E has been passed with 69.06% approval, exceeding the 2/3 vote limit requirements. This $90 annual parcel tax will raise approximately $5 million each year for 8 years. Funds will support STEM, arts, and mental health services in PUSD, competitive wages, and career training courses. Senior citizens 65 years and older are eligible for exemptions. Annual audits and public oversight are required. Pasadena Unified School District Board election results. District number 2, Jennifer Hawley, won with 70.52%. District number 4, Scott Hardin, ran unopposed and received 100% of the vote. And district number 6, Tina Wu Fredericks, won with 62.31% of the vote. Mary W. Jackson Seas Candy online store is open through December 6th. Elliott Arts Magnet Seas Candies has completed receiving online orders, and deliveries will be made in November. Proceeds will benefit school programs. More details are available on the PTA websites. Organized by Jackson's Club Scout Pack number 40, supporting families in need in the Jackson Altadena community. The dates are November 12th through the 21st. Donation locations drop off shelf-stable items at morning drop-off stations in the front of the school and Casitas Gate. And that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you so much, and thank you to the Education Committee for your stewardship of our public schools. And I also wanted to thank John Carmody, who is going to be leaving the committee to focus on a number of issues in his census tract and in his life that we will look forward to announcing sometime, hopefully very soon. And thank you so much, John, for your participation on that committee. We are moving on to the Legislative Committee. Chair Morona.
Thank you. As the Legislative Committee Chair, I want to bring you information that is happening either state, county, or locally. At the LA County Board of Supervisors meeting on October 29th, the Board of Supervisors approved the LA County Public Works annexation of new territories into the Los Angeles County Consolidated Sewer Maintenance District and levying of sewer charges on parcels within the annexed territories. These properties are around 575 West Loma Alta Drive in Altadena, and there are 3 units there. It simply means, and there was some concern given the word annexation, Altadena. It turns out it's just 3 homes are going into the sewer system. So exciting news here in the Legislative Committee. However, needed to be talked about. If anybody would like to join and discuss these things, I'm always happy to have members to the Legislative Committee, and we are interested in having that happen. So please let me know if you'd like to be a part of this exciting committee. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great.
Victoria.
Go ahead.
Do you have information about the cannabis rules that are going on that they're taking public comment about now?
Thank you. Yes, I do, and we'll get that. It's definitely on our website, and something I don't have it right here in front of me, but good point. Thank you.
Yeah, they're going to pass some new rules about cannabis being legally sold, and they're taking public comment now, so everybody should look on.
It closed, Diane. I think it closed. Wait, what's today? Yes, it closed on Friday.
Oh,
Friday.
my
15th.
apologies.
No,
Oh, well.
no worries.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And now moving on to bylaws, Chair O'Malley.
Before I do this, I'd just like to thank Pasadena Media for replacing these lights. These are so much nicer than the lights that you had before. My eyes don't hurt anymore. So in accordance with Article 12, Section C, the recording secretary, Sutherlen, sent out the bylaw committee's recommended amendments for our bylaws. In the interest of time, I request unanimous consent to waive the reading of the amendments and move that we accept them as distributed.
We need a second. That was a second from Councilmember Chipola. Any discussion? Okay, we are going to take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Any opposition? Okay, so moved. We will incorporate the changes. I want to make a comment just about our bylaws. The bylaws are something that we revisit regularly. I want to acknowledge that there were council members that had some good ideas for future revisions. So as the new council takes shape and the new executive committee takes shape, that's certainly something that we can take a look at in 2025 to see which of those changes, which were more material in nature than maybe what was just passed now, we want to take a look at for the next revision of the bylaws. So I appreciate all the input that we received. And thank you to Councilmember O'Malley for chairing that. Okay, we are going to move on to our public comment.
Thank you. If you do have public comment cards, please turn them in at the ends of the tables. During general public comment, any person may address the Altadena Town Council. The Town Council welcomes your participation and input. Comments are limited to no more than 2 minutes. The Council does not respond to public comment during meetings. If a response is desired, the comment will be given to the appropriate council member. Chair, that's for later. All right, I'm going to bring up, were there 2 of them that just came in or just one? Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and bring you up in pairs and then have somebody on deck. Ann Earhart, you'll be coming up first, followed by Peggy Taylor, if you can be on deck, please. Hello, Ann.
Instead of sleepless in Altadena, it's called poisoned in Altadena. And I am poisoned by my neighbor who has not stopped refinishing the wood. She puts on layer after layer, well, not her, the trades guys, and then buzzes it off and starts anew. There were 4 trucks out there today. I mean, this is a construction project. It's been 7 years and it has no sign of abatement because this is called maintenance in her world. She's crazy. I went to the air conditioning convention to ask, like, what would you do with VOCs? What kind of filter could you possibly use? They said they had never, ever heard of something like this. This is a woman with too much money who likes tradespeople. And my symptoms are my skin is really dry, cracked, and old. I've aged 10 years. I'm sleepless, my thyroid, I'm wearing all these clothes. You know, that's the typical low thyroid. Autoimmune, I've got these 2-tone skin things happening. I'm being poisoned. I mean, oh, just move. Like, right. Oh, and the library, the central library has mold. I hope there is some plan for that. It's really bad mold. Oh, and the Pasadena library and the Altadena library, plural. So, yeah, I mean, here this book is a lawyer, a big shot lawyer who gets sick from his building, sick building syndrome. I mean, here I'm trying to sleep in it. He wasn't sleeping in his building. And it talks about how scents go right into your brain. It goes into your limbic system, serves the location of our emotions, the place of our brain we have organic information. I mean, this isn't the Pasadena collection.
Thank you, Ann. Next up, I have Peggy Taylor. I'll have Veronica Jones on deck, please. Peggy Taylor, please come on up. Veronica, if you can come close as well. Is Peggy Taylor still here? I do not see Peggy, but Veronica, let's go ahead and bring you up. After Veronica, Chris.
Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Hello, Veronica.
Hi, I'm here tonight to
I just wanted to come and express to you personally how heartfelt I felt and the gratitude I feel for you agreeing to partner again for the third year to give pies to Union Station homeless shelter. So I wanted to know that your commitment to helping me and help the community means a lot to me. And you know, I have trouble speaking in front of people. But anyway, we're making a positive impact on the lives of individuals experiencing homelessness in our area. I am pleased to share that the pies will be delivered to Union Station Homeless Shelter this Monday, providing a special treat for their clients there at Union Station. Each year it grows. We started out with 25 pies. I think last year we gave over 50, and I'm not sure how many. I'm sure we'll do even more this year. So thank you, and thank you for all your hard work in the community. I know exactly what you're doing.
She's going to deliver them on Monday?
On Monday afternoon. We'll pick them up at Costco on Monday morning, and we'll deliver them that afternoon. Okay?
Can they still contribute?
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure. The pies at Costco are about $7. So I'm just asking that you give a pie, you know, or more. So far, I've received big donations from you guys. So that was great. Okay, thank you. All right.
Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you.
Chris, I've never learned how to pronounce your last name. I'm going to try Rumeliotis.
That's perfect, Nick.
Is it?
That's not bad. That is not bad. Well, not perfect. Well, good evening. I'm here to raise awareness of the detrimental effects that the West San Gabriel Valley Area Plan will have on this community. It will be voted by the Board of Supervisors on December 10th, and yet many in our community still remain completely unaware. The plan is a massive urbanization scheme for Altadena disguised with buzzwords like walkability, mobility, community vibrancy, environmental protection. But locals are slowly unmasking its detrimental effects. There are several locals who are now very angry. It'll destroy our small town feel, increase traffic, harm the environment, increase safety risks like traffic fatalities, degrade air quality, kill our equestrian character. The list goes on and on. What's unacceptable is that this plan was done top-down with limited local input. And I repeat, sadly, right, people just don't know about it. Speaking to Chris Holden just now, he acknowledged how broken this process is, and he absolutely recommends that the ATC get involved and get involved fast. We must oppose the plan. There's a petition started by this community a few weeks ago, and we've garnered 540 verified signatures on change.org. There's a call to action to halt this plan. And a lot of these locals are in your census tracts. So Los Angeles County's population has been decreasing for the past 7 years, so we do not need any increase in development density in this community.
Thank you, Chris. Alan Zorthian, I'll be bringing you up next. Peggy Taylor, have you, you can go ahead, Alan. I'm just seeing if Peggy's here. No Peggy? Okay, Alan, please come on up.
Okay, in the beginning of this meeting, you had us salute the flag. I'm glad you did that, because I then noticed that the flag you're flying is the U.S. military flag of war with the gold fringe. And that makes perfect sense. The U.S. military flag signifies that one is subject to admiralty law under which the U.S. Constitution is suspended. And the Constitution clearly has been suspended when unelected bureaucrats can impose what amounts to grand theft. The West San Gabriel Valley Area Plan, you can call whatever you want, but the West San Gabriel Valley Area Plan, among other things, is confiscation of property. My father came to this country to escape a genocide, which was preceded by confiscation of property. He established the land of which I am now in possession. He did not establish and build what he did only to have it confiscated. He believed in this country. And given the past history to which I referred, it makes me wonder what comes next. The West San Gabriel Valley Area Plan will bring about a radical increase in traffic and traffic deaths. The County of Los Angeles is a corporation, not a government. As such, I question their jurisdiction to make any zone change at all. That's all I'm going to say tonight, but I know a lot of people on this committee seem to be supporting the plan, so it makes sense. We're under military law of war. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. And thank you, everyone, for your public comment. It is appreciated, and we rely on it. I received no further correspondence prior to the meeting or any comments. We are finished with public comment.
Thank you, and thank you all for staying. I know it's a long meeting. We appreciate you staying. We have one census tract report, 4611.
Yes, and it's not as much a census tract report as it is an announcement, probably because I got caught. I have heard many, or read many times recently on Nextdoor, people commenting that why is somebody coming around asking me for to pay for my dog license, and is this a scam? It is not a scam. I just kind of put it off and didn't do anything about it, but no. How many years ago you had to go to the county to get your dog license. Then it was taken over and you could do it at the Humane Society. Then came COVID and lots of things changed anyway. It is back. The county is going around and they are checking on dog licenses. You will see a gentleman or a woman, whoever is coming, and they'll be in their uniform and they'll have identification. And yes, you do have to pay for your license on an annual basis. And you can pay it then, or you can, they'll give you the information so that you can pay it, I guess, whether you mail it in. But just be aware that they're going to ask you for basically how, the dog's name and how long have you had the dog, and make sure that your rabies shots are up to date, because there's a different, and if they have, I think if they have a chip too, it used to be, and I didn't even pay any attention to it, that a chipped animal you pay more for. I mean, a non-chipped animal you pay more for. So just to let you know that it's not a scam. Thank you.
Before we call for adjournment, I just want to add to that the Board of Supervisors voted at some time ago to not charge penalties for unlicensed animals until they lift that, which I think he said that the penalty was $150. So $20 to license your pet. They're coming around. They're not charging a penalty. You can license them right there in person, or you can go online. They have a list of people who with prior pet licenses, and that's what they're going off of. So, and they'll leave a little hanger for you if you're not home.
And by the way, senior citizens, you charge you $7.50. So if you're a senior citizen, you only have to pay $7.50.
That's true. Okay, and go ahead.
Before we adjourn, instructions on the tables. Council members will take off all the stuff. We will break down the tables. I'll need a couple in the back for Arcona tomorrow.
Danny says no. Danny says no.
We will not take down the tables. Leave everything be, and
I
will do everything tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
Motion to adjourn? All in favor? Thank you very much. We'll see whomever comes tomorrow night here tomorrow night.